Hello everyone, hope we're all good. Big shout out to everyone out there who likes, shares, comments and subscribes to the All or Nothing podcast. Thank you very much. I love your feedback. Okay, so I've seen a lot recently in the news about Curtis Warren and his up and coming release. I think he's out this month, November. I heard from, local sources, papers and stuff that he's in a prison, high security prison in Cambridgeshire. He's going to be on some stringent regulations when he gets out. I believe that we can't have more than £1,000 on his possession, whether that's in coins as well. He can't have more than one phone, one SIM card. He's got to get permission to sit in someone else's car, although he's not going to be on probation because he's served his time. But he's going to be on the radar. He's hot. The heat's on him. Simple as. And as for getting on a podcast, I think there's two people in Liverpool, maybe more, that won't do a podcast. Right? One's Per Palaki, and definitely the second one is Curtis Warren. If he's got all these lucrative TV deals and Netflix shows and Amazon on his case, then that'll inhibit him from telling his story. The reason I know this is because Banged Up Abroad got in touch with me 5 years ago and asked would I tell my story on National Geo. I had to say no because it was tied down to, the movie A Prayer Before Dawn. So that stopped me right in my tracks from moving forward. And although I didn't make any, kind of financial gain from the movie, I would have liked to have done it on the spin-offs. I would have liked the opportunity to have earned a pound note, but, I didn't. So that'll stop Curtis doing what he needs to do. And really, there's a lot of podcasts out there that are either deluded or believed you can get him on their show. Now, I'd love to have him on my show. I don't think he'll ever turn up to some local yokels podcast in Liverpool and tell a story. He'll be with the big hitters like True Geordie, Joe Rogan. You might even go on James English. Sean Atwood would definitely, try and get his claws in, and chop a video up about 25 times and make loads of little clips out of it. Because that's what he does. Anyway, yeah. He won't do any in Liverpool with any of us, the people who have got podcasts. I'm not too sure who's out there. There's what? The Legger, the Kid, myself. I'm sure there's a few others. I don't really keep up to date with them. However, yeah, that's not going to happen. Now, I've actually met Curtis. I was 14. We came down to speak to our gym with his mate John Ormisher. John, big kid, sadly passed away in 2019. Rest in peace, John. He was an handy fella, John. Curtis must have been about what? About 24. I don't really want to go into why he came down to speak, but it didn't end well for him at the time. And then I met Aki a couple of years later. And I lived in the South End, so I'm going to be in that way of life of meeting people. I can only talk about people that I've met and that I've had an experience with or an affiliation. I've said this before, I'm not going to start talking about people I don't know, and inventing stories. I don't know nothing about Curtis. Only the time that I've briefly seen him when he was there, we never spoke, and that was it. Simple as. Aki, I've had loads of interactions with him. He's had me up the wall when I've gone to court. He's on ice. He's never, ever going to do a podcast. Never in a million years. He's never going to do a documentary. And I'm not even too sure Curtis will, to be honest. Why would you want to? Right, I know he's done his time. He was just a local lad from the South End. Got big in the game by the time he was 30-something. He was grafting like what with the Colombian cartel. He was the middleman, I believe. And I remember reading his book, The Cocky, and his ingenious ways of smuggling drugs from Colombia back to the UK were incredible. They were legendary. Let's have it right. That's why there's You know, there's been so much about him in the news over the years. You know, one of the richest men in the world, from Liverpool, from a council estate. You know, so it can be a little bit tempting for these young kids, kind of, seeing these fellas driving around in top whips and, you know, flying all over the world. It's quite exciting. However, you know, look at where he's been for like a huge part of his life, and I'm pretty sure, you know, he regrets it. And I can't understand why someone of his league would be involved in smuggling like £1 million worth of cannabis from Jersey. Just odd, isn't it? Someone who's worth over, what, 200 and something million. Maybe it's just like trying to keep your foot, you know, in the game. Stay in the action. Just throw a little nutmeg here and there. Because $1 million to him is like probably a drop in the ocean. Yeah, so there's going to be... he's also... Well, he's not on probation because he served his sentence, right? He's going to be allowed back in Liverpool because it'll be against his human rights to stop him from coming back to his hometown where he lives. You know, and back in the day, the old school firm, I remember a few of them, like Johnny Phillips. I remember I met Johnny Phillips, and I met Johnny for the first time down the block in Walton. I had a fight with some kid on the landing. I can't remember who. You know, it was just one of those days again, probably over drugs. And he had a black eye. Must have been, I must have got sparked. I had a black eye. And I must have been early, 20s, 21, 22, if that. And I'm down the block and I've seen this big hombre, big thick-set kid, you know, come out the pad, and he was arguing with some other fella. You know, they've had a bit of beef on a visit years ago. I'm on the yard with him, on the exercise yard. There's only me and him. And he said to me, he said, how did the other lad look? Well, you just lie, don't you? Oh, yeah, I slaughtered him. I leaded him. I knocked him clean out. That's why I'm down here. I don't even know why I was down there. Can't even remember. But yeah, I met Johnny down the block. You know, I've met a few notorious villains on me journey. You know, I talk about Charlie Bronson. I remember being in Stafford prison and reading about Charlie Bronson in the FHM magazine. I thought, I'm going to write him a letter, because he was in, you know, his prison where he was at the time. It was documented in this magazine. So I wrote to the prison, Charlie Bronson, didn't have his number. Just thought, you know, I'll send him a letter. I was doing, right, no shit, I was doing over 2,000 press-ups within an hour in my cell in Stafford. We were on 23.5-hour bang-up. I was fit as you like. You know, I was banging press-ups out, I was banging sit-ups out. We weren't getting no gym. And I loved, you know, like taking care of myself. I was 25, I wrote him a letter, said, oh, all right, Charlie, how are you, mate? Just want you to know, you're my hero. You know, and like all these villains at the time, yeah, pretty boy, sure, you're reading books and you think you can go out and start bending prison doors and knocking screws out, but it doesn't really happen like that. You know, it's all fantasy. You know, you think you're Charlie Bronson and climbing on prison roofs and protesting for nothing. I've done it, climbed on Walton roof. I think Charlie's been up here. You know, tried to hit some screw, didn't work. Got battered, yeah. So, you know, these were all your heroes, and what you read is who you want to become. And I wrote him a letter and I said, you're my hero, lad, but I'll tell you something now, lad. I have just beat your prison record. I have done so many press-ups, and I'm so proud of myself. And I sent this letter off thinking he'd never get it, and he got back to me. Seriously. About 6 weeks later, this brown envelope has come under my door, right? And I had a picture of this fella with a camera sticking out of his head. It was one of his mad pictures that he does. I didn't know he did these pictures back then, but, you know, just thought it was a bit odd. And there was a little sentence saying, oh, Shan, my son's from Liverpool, you know, you must be fucking better than me, mate. Well done. And that was it. You know, and I did have that, and I took it home, and I lost it because I lose everything. That's what happens with me. I lose a lot of things. Yeah, so I've never been involved in those big circles of, you know, people out there, you know, but I've come across them. You know, I don't claim to be anyone who's had a glorious, glamorous life. I haven't. It's been quite dark and desperate, you know, and I've always wanted to be where they were. You know, saw drug dealers in belted cars and thought I wish I had one of them. I'd look out of windows while I was smoking crack and think, you know, I'd love to be that man down there walking his dog. Things that we take for granted. You know, and I know I talk a lot about recovery, and, you know, I'm on the receiving end of these drug dealers. I was just a pawn in a chess game. Most of us were. You know, heroin was like a silent bomb that landed in the UK, especially Liverpool, and it took a lot of people out the game. It separated families. It ruined communities. You know, it certainly ruined my youth. You know, and I'm scoring off kids down the South End. You know, I can remember them. You know, Granby Street was like the place to not be for the police, but to be, you know, I used to score a little weed down there, used to get a little £5 draw, a little skinny stick of Rocky. Yeah. And then crack came on the scene, the early 90s. And I remember buying it, didn't know what it was. This girl, he was shaving up on Granby, like a tomboy, was telling me, you know, it was the best thing, it was the next best thing to the UK, you need to try it. I bought it, had a little go, didn't know how to do it, so I kind of dismissed it. But then I went back to it, you know, maybe a few months later, and got an understanding of how to use it, and then that was it. You know, it's like there's a difference between like heroin. Heroin, you can kind of manage your life. Crack will take you to your knees within months, within weeks, literally. You know, and if you're trapped in that world, it's not nice. And there's a lot of people on this platform that share about their journey and how they struggle, and thank me for being honest and inspiring them and giving them that change. But I want to thank you for watching this, you know, little upload. I appreciate all your support, and it means a lot to me that, you know, I've got my little boy there. It's not as professional in this house. Just go shh. But it's okay. It is what it is. I'm a family man now, you know, and I wasn't years ago. I was just a Ronin in society. Just everyone was a victim, you know, and I was destroying not only, you know, my own life, but everyone around me. So if you've got a problem with drink, drugs, and you've had enough, then pick up the phone, speak to someone, reach out for help. You're not alone. There's places to go, and I know, like the likes of NA, ACA and all that might not be your cup of tea. You know, some people go to church, some people just don't go anywhere and just have a family life. You know, it's not one for one. It's different pathways. For me, you know, I do what I do. I go to a meeting once a week, and I don't pick up. I've got no desire, and I don't go to meetings for me. I go to meetings to listen to other people tell their story, so it reminds me of how it used to be. Because I know what my story's like, but I can certainly, like, easily forget it. You know, take it for granted and get complacent. And they say, don't they, complacency is the thief of clean time. But that's what I don't want to happen anymore. So yeah, once again, thanks for all your support. I'll just find myself rambling on and inventing stories if I don't stop now. I appreciate all your support. Take care. Thank you.